Ladies and gentlemen, we have the nicest guy in all of e-commerce, Russ Izzo. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for
How you
having
doing?
me. Nice to
Russ,
see
you are someone who I admire so much in this industry for a couple reasons. Number one, you've been in it. I mean, when did you get into tech?
I would say in 93.
But you have an e-commerce business right now, a tech, electronics-based e-commerce business, right, where you're making consumer electronics.
Yes.
And it's doing extremely well. And you're having an experience that everyone dreams about. Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on?
Well, this was, I guess I have to go back to the crash of the real estate industry, which is where my roots were at that time, and things were going great.
So the bubble, the housing bubble, 2008, the whole
took
thing?
us down. I think it was a disaster.
Oh my goodness.
We had everything was wonderful, and suddenly it wasn't.
Yeah.
And everything was, money was rolling in, and then it was gone. And it evaporated.
And was that like tough on your relationships and just like?
You would think. But my wife of 26 years, showed me who she was. When things got the roughest, she got the strongest and most independent and fiercest. And I really knew she had my back. And there was a point where, things were so bad. It's like you start to wonder, can I do anything right? I'm just
who am I? What am I? What am I doing?
Yeah.
And one of the experiences that a lot of people report is having their identity wrapped up in their business, right? Where it's like, if the business is not doing well, then I'm not doing well.
And who am I anymore?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we were. And my wife says, you know what? You need to just think, and I'll go get a job, and I'll figure out how to keep the lights on and stuff. And she did that. And she went to work at a law firm. She became, a core member of the team.
And so you just went inward? And...
Well, I started like these small businesses. One was tax grievance, for Long Island homeowners, and one was I was doing financial services. And I was just eking out a living, thinking. And then a friend of mine, who you know, Steve, says,
good guy,
come with me to China. You don't understand. That's where it's all happening. That's where the world...
When was this?
This was 2010 or 11.
Okay.
He says, that's where it's all happening.
I went to China around then too.
Okay. He says, you're going to figure something out. I don't know what, but you'll just come. And I was like, oh, China, what do I know about China? I know how to brand and how to build. All right, I'll go. So I went and I saw this. It just changed my whole world. Like, this is where the world comes to.
Products were being made and where business was happening. I mean, that's like the emergence, really, of...
Yeah, I saw where, everything I see in home goods, here it is. Everything I saw in, wherever it was made here. Yeah. And it just got my wheels turning. I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, well, Steve, what should I do? And he's like, we'll figure it out. So then I went back to sleep for a while, but I was smoldering.
The seed had been planted.
It had been planted. And then I found an online e-commerce training course, which was ASM.
Oh, wow. Right on, yeah.
And to this day...
So we're talking 2013 now.
Yes.
Ish. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't know about ASM, Matt Clark, Jason Katzenbach, amazing.com. Love those guys. I'm speaking at their event in June in Vegas.
Yeah. Whenever I see them, I thank them.
Me too. I mean, they really created, I think, the most successful business opportunity online education course in history.
I agree. Because I saw it, and I'm like, well, I can make products. I can do branding. I know how to do photography. I could do video. I could do copywriting.
Yeah.
But there was the first time it was like, okay, take this piece of cheese, put it in this wrapper, and sell it here. I'm like, I could do that.
So that kind of got you into physical product e-commerce, leveraging the Amazon channel as your traffic source and customer source and distribution center, and started selling on Amazon. And that was around about the time we connected.
Well, that was actually before we connected. So what happened was, I started to get the idea that I could do this, and I went to the first meeting in Austin, and that's where I met my partner, Ming. He was an attendee. ASM1? It was ASM.
Whatever it was. Okay. Wow.
And there he is, this funny-looking guy who just looks lost.
You guys are genuinely the nicest guys. So.
Well, that's how I feel about him because.
Well, you are cut from a similar cloth.
Yeah. And I went to Texas to find out he was my neighbor in Long Island. Okay. And
perfect.
We had talked about complementary skill sets. Like I'm all about marketing and the big picture and he was logistics and details and labels and everything else, and he also speaks Chinese.
Yeah, hey, that helps, right?
So one thing led to another, and we started getting this idea, and I was sitting down like, okay, I need a name that doesn't exist, that denotes that gives you the vibe of what it is.
Yeah.
So I really went to work on the name, and I came up with True Medic.
True Medic, it's true. It's medic.
And then
live life better. Tagline, people. I've been telling you need a tagline. But I just want to make a point here, which is we're in 2013 when this is being developed. 2012-ish. Yeah. Okay, we're in 2019 now. You're having your best year ever, right?
Yes.
7 years deep working on the brand, laying the bricks for the runway, and now you're taking off, but you've been laying this runway so the plane could go. I mean, this is the thing that I tell people. It's like multiple millions happens a couple years in for most people. You can't quit.
Well, that's not even a part of the
vernacular. You are, yeah.
You can't quit. Of course you can't quit.
Let's go back to that. I mean, listen, some people give up, right? After 18 months, it's not working, they're out.
Well, in some cases, quitting is a successful resolution. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Totally.
But I never believe in that. If I believe in the idea, I don't.
You're sticking with
that's it. That's
all right.
the idea.
So you meet your partner.
So I had Trumatic, and I'm like, what do I sell? Yeah. And it just
came with the brand name before you figured out what to sell, or you knew the category?
I knew health and wellness, and I knew I had the brand.
Got it.
And my wife, who I think you met, suffered from migraines, and nothing really helped. She tried drugs, she tried this, she tried that, she tried dark lights and eye shades, and
all the stuff, brain waves.
And in one of the many long-suffering adventures I sent her on was to get her insurance licenses because she was going to sell insurance. Not, so she's in the class,
sound like much fun.
And the insurance instructor said, I need a break. I get these migraines, and this is the only thing that helps me. Oh. And she pulled out an electrotherapy device, TENS unit, and put it on her neck. Wow. And she says, 15 minutes later, she's like, I can continue now. And my wife was like, wait, what's that? So when I said, honey, I need something, it's got to be about yay big, it's got to be about so heavy, it's got to be small, it's got to be effective, it has to be a certain price. Yeah. She's like, I know what you have to sell. And she turned me on to the TENS units.
There's a lesson here, which is, and I say this all the time, look around. What resources available? Take that. I look around, hey, I got a buddy here, I need someone for the team. I got a buddy here who I really like hanging out with who's smart. Put him on the video team. He's now on the video team. Like, take what's around you and use it.
Yeah, always. Yeah. So I started contacting factories in China, and I was very fortunate. I came up with a very solid individual who happens to be a physicist who helped me through the process of getting the FDA certification. It's a Class 2 medical device.
Now, do you think you found a great factory because you looked super hard, or because you got lucky, or a combination of both? Or
combination of both.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was about 5 I had it down to, but the one that I picked was the real deal.
Got
it. At that time, I don't know. I'm dealing in a foreign country.
Yeah, but
I'm sending my money into the ether. Am I going to get anything? Am I going to get ripped off? It was scary because that was, every marble counted at that point. Like they were limited, and it was loaned from, it was a loan from family.
Friends and family. I've been there.
So I was like, don't screw this up.
Yeah.
And we got started, and I applied everything that I had learned in the digital course plus what I had in my background, and it just shot up and became #1. And it was interesting though, which you might want to share with your tribe, is I was selling the exact same product as other people for twice the price. Because I added value.
Yeah.
It looked better. The description was better. The photos were better. I had 3D models made in Eastern Europe.
You had real customer support.
Oh, absolutely.
You were charging more because you were going to deliver a better customer experience and product.
Exactly. And we became the #1 product in the category.
At double the price.
At double the price.
Premium products. I said this on stage yesterday at this event, Traffic Conversion Summit, that like the longer I'm in e-commerce, the more I lean towards premium.
Yes.
Because it gives you the margin to truly deliver, not just on, people try to skimp down, and it's like to deliver in every area, to deliver in copy, to deliver in design, to deliver in support, to deliver in product. Like,
even if it's not perfect, but you have to make it constantly better.
Yeah.
And you have to do it.
Totally.
So whether it was videos, whether it was photography, whether it was animations.
You guys do hilarious videos.
Oh, thank you.
You sent me some. We were going to do some advertising stuff, but like, okay, so you get this product. It's working on Amazon. This is 5 years ago now.
Yes. So now I run into, you're on one of the podcasts from ASM.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to this guy. And you got to do this, you got to get this title, you got to get this, you got to sell it really fast. I have this brown box formula, it's going to make. I'm like, I didn't get all of that, but this is the guy I got to talk to.
And my dad back here real quick. My dad's in the background cracking up. So apparently this is true.
So it became this data dump. I'm like, who is that guy? All right, how do I find out? But just buy whatever he's selling because I need to meet him. I need to learn what he's.
Hey, I'll take it.
I went to one of your events, and then I became a member of the Blue Ribbon.
Yeah. Came to hang out with me in Brooklyn.
Yeah. And
at the old,
I brought a couple friends.
Old Brooklyn loft.
I love that place. That was nice.
It was a cool place.
So you remember I was growing and growing on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you wake up one day and they shut you down.
Yes, that's the problem with Amazon.
It's like, what the heck?
It's a cash flow.
I didn't do anything wrong. Yeah. Like, why? What? Oh, we'll check into it. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, and they don't get back to you.
2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, okay, we figured it out. You're right. Well, I just lost $400,000 in sales. There's no one to talk to. And I remember you saying, you built your house on somebody else's land. I never forgot that. You said it all the time. And I'm like, I need to get alternate channels. And that's what I came to for in the beginning. Like, how do I
How do I get
diversify?
on
How do not
Shopify?
get off Amazon, but how do I not make that my whole world?
Yeah, it's so hard because people who, the skill set of Amazon is different than the skill set of ads, direct response, Shopify, email marketing, because Amazon is the platform, the visibility source. It's where you build your page. It's where they do the support. Like it's its own skill set.
Yes.
That's fun to develop, but ultimately, I believe, less valuable than developing the skill set of having your own little house, even if it's a smaller house.
I couldn't agree more, and I learned that lesson the hard way.
Me too.
Because as we got bigger and bigger, every time they shut us down, which has got to be, they shut us down 4 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what the reason was? The same reason they shut us down 7 years ago. Oh, your product has to be FDA cleared. It's the same papers I've given you 8 times. What are you talking about? So jumping forward. So we got bigger, and I finally was fortunate enough to get additional channels off of e-commerce. And I think it was you in one of your presentations that you said, it's great, e-commerce is awesome, and 3% of all transactions happen on e-commerce, but 97% of all transactions happen offline.
And most of us online marketers don't even know how to approach the offline model. And this is something that when you told me what you were doing, how are you doing this? I don't even understand that world in the slightest.
Sometimes you need a key to open a door to a vast place. Yeah. And in a sense, you and people like you that I really cottoned up to and listened to helped me understand how to make that key. Because the rest of the stuff I have, I could do the background, I could do the promotions, I could do the copywriting, but I didn't know how to walk through that door.
Right.
So sometimes it's just a friendly voice that takes you through and says, no, don't go left, go right.
So you just started making calls, or?
Well, I did that for a long time. I bought every course I could find about getting into retail, and then I picked up whatever I could from that. But in the end, it was sheer perseverance. Because I went to every trade show, and I started looking for people with name badges of the places I wanted to get into. Walmart name tags and Sam's and Costco name tags. Yeah. And I found somebody, and I just waited. And when they were done with whatever presentation, my wife and I were there. And we had 3 devices. We had an iPad, we had a cell phone, and we had something else. And I'm like, okay, you get this page ready, you get that page ready, I'll get this page ready. And then we jumped.
Hey, we have this stuff.
And the buyer's looking at me like, who is this crazy person? And little by little, I was like, so after about 30 minutes, he says, okay, here's my card, you can call me. And that's it. I didn't stop.
Got the card, and then just
when someone says you can call me, I keep calling until they say stop.
Yeah, right on. Totally.
If you tell me to stop, I'll stop.
And that was a buyer for a big box store?
Yes, that was a buyer.
So you went to the trade shows. You went where those people are. You did it. You found the person, and you got the card.
Yes.
And this is common, frankly. It's like people are like, how do you do it? Well, and I've heard many stories like this. Well, I went where those people were, and I did what it took to talk to them.
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's old school, pound the pavement, right? We're too lazy. I'm sitting at home on my computer.
Sometimes it's not just a click.
Yeah.
Or if it is a click, it's great until it's not.
Right.
When Facebook changes their algorithm or Google changes, sometimes you have to make a relationship. You have to shake hands. You have to let them know that you're honest. You're the real deal. You're going to deliver. You're going to back up what you say.
Totally.
And so I called and called and called until I finally got an email. You're one of the most persistent people I've ever met in my life. Yes. And I said, I'll take that as a compliment. When can we meet?
You got the meeting?
He says, be in my office. It's on the West Coast. He says, be in my office on Thursday. And
you're in
on
the East Coast.
But my son had the lead in the school play on Thursday night.
Can't miss that.
Can't miss
Priorities.
that. Priorities.
Yes.
I had to say, I'm sorry, I can't make it. It's a God song, it's true. So I no problem, we'll reschedule. So I said, well, I could be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 3 months later, that was my first taste of it's our way or the highway with the big box, And as it happens, because I don't know, call it fate, call it, karma, whatever, it was the best thing that ever happened. Because in the interim, in the interim, I had a trip to China, and it was during that trip that I found the factory that we made the first neck massager.
Oh yeah, that thing I had that I gave to my whole team. That was a good product.
So we finally get back. And I had a number of meetings on the West Coast. I meet the buyer, and all I'm talking about is my first product, the TENS unit, because that was the majority of my
seller
company.
on
and they're like, well, I don't know. You got to touch people. That could get weird. And then, all right, we'll try it in a small test. Oh, you know what? We can't do business with a company that only has one product. I'm so sorry. We should have told you that. I'm like, wait. I brought you this. And I take out the neck massager. I had forgotten all about it in the meeting.
Shows you. Goes to show you.
And oh, we've seen things like that before. I said, no, trust me, you've never seen anything like this. They put it on, all of a sudden, there was electricity in the air. People were standing up. They're calling people in other rooms.
The key of a truly great product. When someone experiences it, they want to tell everyone about it, right?
So all of a sudden, it lit up like a Christmas tree, and things went really positive from that point forward. And
amazing.
That's where we had our first. It was like, okay, we'll test you out in 2 stores. Then I get a call, no, maybe 10. Then I get a call, no, 100 stores, but not in July. We're going to give you Christmas. But don't mess it up.
And so you are, by the way, bootstrapped.
Totally.
You don't have venture money.
I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
You're making it work.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 100 stores with a not inexpensive product to make. I'm going to guess that product was between $30 and $60 to make. Just guessing. I don't know, but I mean that's.
You're talking about many millions of dollars that we had to have.
How does that work?
That was like one of the biggest challenges we've ever faced.
Right, to buy all this inventory, and then do they have buyback clauses where it's like if it doesn't sell, they're
No. It's all on you.
Yeah, like meaning you have to buy it back if they don't sell it.
You don't even get the PO until you sell it. So you have to go and make it. It's all got to be real. You got to sell it.
Yeah.
And it's all on you, and it's all your responsibility.
That's heavy duty.
Yeah, it took us months. We went to every VC, went to every finance, and everyone said no. And then in the end, we went to everybody we ever knew or vaguely recognized it, and we raised the money, little by little, piece by piece.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
And we were able to get the millions of dollars we needed to bring in, 70,000 machines. And,
oh my goodness!
And all of a sudden, I was operating out of a 400 square foot office.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we needed warehouses. And
yeah.
And it all hit at once. And then from there, it grew because then buyers from other countries started calling us because they saw the numbers.
In the big box stores and seeing how it was doing.
And then other chains started calling us. And one thing, it just started becoming the self-fulfilling prophecy.
Now, this is still not what happened in the last 9 months.
No,
okay.
that was different.
We're still getting to the thing that everyone hopes for.
Yeah. So what happened was, one of the things we realized was that we needed to get out there in a way that was genuine, authentic, and impactful. And the way I thought of to do that was to stand on the shoulders of giants. And one of the people that we have in our world that is a true giant is this individual who owns a public relations firm.
PR. Traditional PR.
Traditional,
but you
old
didn't
school
start
PR.
there. You went online. You went retail.
They had nothing to talk about
brand.
otherwise.
Then you get PR after. After. This is the key.
Yeah. First of all, you have to be able to support. It's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
And then second of all, you have to give them enough raw materials. Like you can't bake a cake without the ingredients.
And it may take them a year.
So all of a sudden, it's like we're getting these little singles and doubles, and we're getting a little article here and a little mention there, and all of a sudden.
Can I just ask if the range? Because I've done PR for my brand as well, and we were paying between $6,000 and $12,000 a month.
More.
Wow. So you went high-end PR.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Well, if anything worth doing is worth doing well, and don't do it if you can't afford it, or figure out how to pay for it. But the people that charge you $6,000 and write to every
little blog,
PR stuff, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
But the people that know how to do that have those connections, because it's all about relationships. Sure. It's completely about relationships.
Got it.
And those people don't need to be cheap because they don't have to be.
Sure.
But
and they want a piece of the action.
You get what you pay for, at best, right? In the best case scenario.
100%.
We had, at this point, we had a lot to talk about. We had a lot of wins and we had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I get a call. It says, "You sitting down?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, why? What are we talking about?" "Oprah tried your foot massager and she loved it. And we may be able to make it one of her favorite things if she decides." And I didn't really know what that meant. So I don't follow, celebrities or anything. I'm always.
You're in
so
it.
I started Googling.
Yeah.
The Oprah effect. Blew up the company.
The Oprah effect on influencers, on products, on books. I mean.
So now I'm scratching my head.
The most famous influencer in the world, almost. You could argue.
Yeah. So, but now I'm thinking, well, she doesn't have a show anymore, so maybe it's different now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then there's a program where she works with Amazon as part of her favorite things category. So I start speaking to the manager of the Amazon department. I'm like, well, what could I expect? We don't know. I said, well, can you give me a range? Because I have to order this stuff, months in advance, and it could be 3,000, it could be 50. We don't know. So I'm like, all right, that's not a lot to go on. So what do I do? And we picked a number, and I figured, look, there's a good safety margin here. There's plenty of room. I think we'll be okay. Then we get a call. We got you on Good Morning America, and they're going to play the Oprah video. Oh, by the way, Oprah made a video about your product. I'm like, no, really? Seriously? And then one thing led to another, and all of a sudden, we're on Entertainment Tonight, we're on People,
National
we're on AP,
press,
we're
national traditional news media with an influencer, the biggest influencer, endorsing the product.
Just because she loved it.
You can't buy that.
No. There's no money, there's nothing. She just
Nothing
happened
you
to like
could
it.
do to make that, to manufacture that, other than having been in the game forever, having created a truly incredible product, having had the history of the factories, the ability to produce when the time came, like all your years of laying those bricks gave you that runway.
And people say, well, you must have paid not a penny. She liked it and she talked about it. That's it. And then all of a sudden, the sales, when the day came for Good Morning America to air, we thought maybe 3,000 to 5,000. We sold 20,000 units in one day.
That's not an inexpensive product either.
No. And that kicked off Amazon, and it kicked off our website, and all of a sudden we had a $3 million day.
That's crazy.
It almost blew us up.
I mean, yeah, that can. I mean, look, people say be ready to 10x your supply chain. I had the experience of my supply chain needing to 10x, and it broke everything. It broke marketing, it broke support, it broke supply chain, it broke the whole company. It took me a year to recover from everything going. It was like,
and all of a sudden, you're in a position where you truly believe, like, customer is king. You want to give them anything they want, and you want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But you can't handle 1,000 calls at once.
Oh my God.
And it's like, now people are like, well, this company is terrible. They didn't answer my call. I'm like, no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing people in. We're scaling the phones. We're calling them back. We're giving them free. And we got through it by the skin of our teeth.
Oh my God.
But between the airing and the end of the year, we sold 50,000 machines of something we would normally have sold 5.
Yeah, I mean,
at best.
And we're talking premium product, which means the money you had to lay out to create that. The
Crazy.
risk, how do you tolerate the risk tolerance, right?
That's a personality trait.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, I used to think everyone should be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then, the longer I've been an entrepreneur, I realized, oh no, you have to be a certain level of crazy to have this level of risk tolerance.
Over the top crazy. We ran out of product, like, immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
So now we're flying containers in overnight, sometimes 2 and 3 containers at a time. Wow. And if you know what a container is, flying that in,
that's no joke.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now we're losing money.
Yeah,
because
but you've got to deliver product.
Got to deliver the product. Yeah. You can't embarrass anybody who made this happen.
Deliver the product. Yeah.
Hundreds and millions of dollars in wasted freight.
Yeah.
Because we just couldn't predict.
Sure.
Who knew?
Yeah.
But if you run out,
then you're hosed. That's going to support you the next year. Right? It's like
that's the bet we placed, which was, how do we not screw this up, and how do we rise to the occasion and come out clean?
Even though it's making money, you recognize that all that it's making needs to go back in. You're not trying to pull out for yourself and ball out on Instagram and ride around in Lambos. You're putting it back into so that it can keep growing, and like that takes
certain kind of energy.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to have a solid, family and wife and everything, and she believes in me, whether win, lose, or draw. Like, I know it's not a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, it's what can I do to make the business as strong and powerful as I can, so that it then someday will give us but in order to do that, you can't milk it.
Yeah.
Like you can have milk or you can have steak. Pick one.
Yeah.
Totally. You can't have both.
For sure.
Right?
100%.
So in our case, we wanted to keep it going and growing so that we can, partner with bigger people and do other things.
Yeah.
And you need every dime plus more. Because as you're growing,
we were just talking about that yesterday. We're both in this spot where it's growing. It's like, well, we need more money to fund inventory. It's like,
exactly.
It's a dance.
So if I need more money and you're going to put more money in my company, how could I be taking it out the back door? It just doesn't work.
No.
So you have to leave it in there
Put
and
yourself
go find
on a
more.
salary, and
just a reasonable salary. Nobody could say boo.
Yeah.
And this way, it all everything works. It all makes sense. So based on that, now all of a sudden, the people that I had been trying so hard to reach out to in the channels,
reaching out to you,
are reaching out to us saying, "Can we have your product? Can we have your product?"
Yeah.
And it's like I'm scratching my head saying, "Seriously?"
Social proof, man. I mean, the other thing that I think is interesting that y'all have done that I think is impressive is you have quite an expansive product line. And companies that scale tend to have multiple products, so that like once someone buys one thing, you have other things to offer them. Did you start early being like, hey, I want to have multiple products, or what point did you figure that out?
At the very beginning, when I chose the name, I wanted a name that would be an umbrella, so that I could, in case it works, and I was hoping it would work, then I could expand it to other related industry-type products, or grow, it's kind of like an ascension ladder. You've talked about this in your training as well.
Yeah.
So get them involved with your brand, give them a good experience so that they go on to the more expensive. First they get the neck massager, then they might get the foot, then they might get the calf. The next thing you know, they're buying a massage chair.
Yeah.
So that's the Ascension model that we tried to build.
Beautiful.
It's been working.
Well, I just want to say, it could not have happened to a better guy. I'm so happy for you, and having been a friend of yours in this industry for the better part of 5 years, maybe longer, maybe 7, whatever it is, seeing you and your companies grow and everything that you've put into it, and running into you guys at events, and just like, it's been really cool to watch. So
I have to say, a lot of what we've done, I can directly attribute to Ezra Firestone, your training, and
you did
the compassionate, manner, which is very inviting and welcoming. Even when you're really crazy busy and you're going on stage, you'll stop. Russ, how you doing? What's going on? How's things? Okay, I have to go, but not everybody does that, and it means a lot to people who are on their way up. And I just wanted to. Sometimes people forget.
Thanks for coming on and sharing your story.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Russ Izzo, ladies and gentlemen, go get yourself a True Medic. You can get this thing, sits on your shoulders, gives you a little massage, so nice. If you're on the computer all day and you need, I work on the computer a lot, so my traps get super tight like this. I put on the True Medic massager, and all of a sudden it's just like, relaxes. We might even be able to get Russ, I don't know, to give us a little discount for Smart Marketer, small little discount on the neck massager. Maybe not, no pressure. We can cut this out too.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
It's
fine. True Medic, thank you.
Thank you.